Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, welcome to this very special night. First of all, let's give a hand to Brian here, Brian Keeley. He's had the Board of Trustees here this morning. He's had a visitation day. He's got this and all of homecoming. He's an amazing individual. And speaking of amazing individuals, we're here to celebrate 4 of them here tonight. 4 individuals that were shaped by this very special place we call Waldorf University, and in turn helped shape this place for the better and really shape the world, living out our mission of educating the whole person for lives of service in the communities where they live. And when you think about your Waldorf experience here, you think about the great education, and you think about all the other things that contributed to that experience, whether it's playing basketball, coaching cheer, wrestling, coaching everything else. And that's all part of this Waldorf experience. That it's not just you get to do this or you get to do that. It's you get to do this and that, and maybe even the other thing too. And that's what shapes the lives of our students. And we finally have a name for this really special thing that we do so well at Waldorf University. We call it the AND, A-N-D. And what that means is simply that students come here because of that experience of educating the whole person. Instead of seeing it, you have coaches and professors like Neil Boyd and Julie Jolivet guiding students like Jessica Fresh and Jordan Nelson to navigate all the different opportunities that they come here, and not seeing it divided as between here's my academic side and here's my athletic side, but all of that contributing to their person, their whole person, and using that to shape the world. That's what makes Waldorf so special. That's what makes this evening so special. And that's why we're here tonight, to celebrate these 4 very special individuals. So with that, I will turn things over back to Chad Gassman, our athletic director.
Thank you, Dr. Alsop. I'm not just saying this because you're all here, but this is truly one of my favorite events. I have the pleasure of doing this as athletic director. And I do have a few things, and then we'll start the evening here soon. I heard a statement by our assistant athletic director, Jenna, and she was telling Noah Miller, one of our staff members, she said, Noah's one of our alumni here, and she goes, have you ever been to one of these? And he goes, no. And she goes, well, you're going to see why Waldorf's so special. You truly see what Waldorf Pride is all about and the stories that make this place so special. So I do want to communicate a few logistics tonight so it doesn't become wonky. I've been told sometimes, though, just because I think it's clear in my head, it's not always clear how it comes out. So I'm going to try it to make this make sense. But after I'm done talking, the first presenter will come up, and it's in here. And the presenter will do, we'll present the rule. See, I'm already messing up. So we'll read the citation, and then we'll bring the inductee up, hand the award, take a picture. The inductee will say a few words, or a lot of words. And then the next presenter will come up after me. Did I mess that up, or does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay, good. Jenna and my wife are nodding. Okay. Few thank yous. It takes a lot for these events to go on, and I just want to thank our Hall of Fame committee. Contrary to popular belief, it's not me that just makes these decisions. We have a committee, and that's Don Johnson, Denny Jerome, Hall of Famer, former athletic director. I could go on about mentor, second dad to me, dear friend, but he started this. And so Joe Talgis, our head baseball coach, Denny Gilbertson, Hall of Famer, Gio Showman, Director of Alumni Relations, and Ryan Flickinger. And then I also just want to thank, I work for the best boss, I'm not just saying that because he's sitting here,
Yes,
Dr.
you are.
Alsop, yeah, because he's sitting here. Steve Smith, Cindy Carter, and our chaplain, Jennifer Tillman. I told Leah Boyd, I go, I'll take all the credit, but I really can't take any of the credit for this. Our admin staff, Jenna, Noah Miller, Callie Schmidt, and Kat Evans, who helped this athletic department go. And Jenna and Callie were out one week. All the members of the boys, who's with the boys, can you just kind of raise your hand? So the week that Jenna and Callie were out of the office, that's when the letters came out, and a lot of the friends of the boys were calling. And Jenna wasn't there and Callie wasn't there, so guess who was dealing with me? And I'm just thankful you're all here. Let's put it down. Because I was just, yeah, you're good, you're on the list. And then Jenna's like, where's the list? So, but all up here. So the Brunsvilles are here, so we're good to go there. But without them, it doesn't run as smooth. Foundation, Severin Roberts, Rod Schultz, Theo Showman again. We got you twice, Theo. So, and then Cheryl Barber, and then Brian Killey, Dr. Alsop, but Brian Killey, he's a busy man on this weekend. We just thank you for the great food and just him serving us. And then Dan May, all the family members and supporters of the inductees, you're part of their story. Thank you. And then, are there any Hall of Famers in attendance? Just kind of raise your hand. DJ? I've already gone on my quota of praising DJ. Yep. Yep. Dr. Hanson. And any coaches in attendance, just raise your hand. We have great coaches here. And as Dr. Alsop was saying, the AND experience has a lot to do with our coaches. I'm a competitive person. I'd like to be winning more, but at the end of the day, it's what kind of person are we sending out of Waldorf? And our coaches have a lot to do with that. So we have great coaches that work really, really hard. And then all spouses in attendance, you're part of it too. So, okay, now let's see if my instructions make sense. We are ready for our first presenter, Dr. Witz.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's great to be here. So it's always great to come back from homecoming and actually to have a hot mic in front of Dr. Alsop. I just like to watch him twist a little bit.
Turn the recording off,
Turn
please.
So I'll try not to swear this time. So I have been tasked because I was honored enough to nominate our first inductee. So I'm going to go off the script because.
Oh boy.
Yes, be very quick. Julie Jolivet is a two-time Waldorf graduate in 1975 and 1992. She graduated from Mapleton High School in Mapleton, Minnesota in 1973, where she cheered for 4 years. You're going to find a thread through this whole thing. She also served as class president, secretary and treasurer, held 4-H leadership roles, and earned the VFW Citizen Award as a senior. She started her freshman year at Waldorf College in 1973. She worked in a few different jobs from 1974 to 1985, including secretary of the Dean of Students at Waldorf, and arguably the most important job of all, mom to her children and wife to husband Tom. In 1985, she was hired as Waldorf's cheer coach. In her 9 years as coach, Coach Jolivet created a respectable program with scholarships, PE credits, and a head coach contract. While cheer coach, she served the cheer community as a whole by leading clinics in the elementary, middle school, and high school ages, and helping to form the Iowa Cheerleading Coaches Association, and serving on the board from 1987 to 1994. She became a basic rescuer with the Forest City Ambulance Service and took the multimedia standard first aid course with the American Red Cross from 1989 to 2000. Running summer cheerleading camps in the Midwest, in May of 1992, Julie graduated again with her AA at Waldorf College and attended Mankato State University as an open studies major with cheerleading emphasis and fitness minor. She has also coached the Forest City Middle School cheer team from 1992 and 1993 and coordinated the Forest City High School's cheer team from 1993 to 1994. After Waldorf, she coached at, help me with this again. Matamita, yeah, that's a Minnesota thing, it's not an island. From 1994 to 1990. The teams placed at state competitions and individual cheerleaders earned All-American honors. She's also a National Coach of the Year finalist in 1994. She returned to Forest City, Iowa to coach the cheer program at FCHS from 2000 to 2002. After serving as ministry coordinator for Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Forest City, Iowa from 2001 to 2005, and Trinity Lutheran Church in Stillwater, Minnesota from 2005 to 2020, she attempted to retire. Attempted. But we all know how Julie is. So that didn't, yeah, she just slowed down. She tapped the brakes. But now she currently serves as the Children, Youth, and Family Coordinator at First Lutheran Church in Hayward, Wisconsin. Some of her favorite memories at Waldorf include going to the dorm to pick up cheerleaders at 5 a.m. practice. That happened. She screamed up J&L. Yeah, that only happened once. Once. So, but yeah, she was not, she came up, pounded on the, we were already ready, but we'll go with that. And was taught by DJ how to swear and to hold her own in coaches meetings. Which, you know, the 2 years I coached, she never swore. I've been around a lot of coaches for a long time. She never swore. She didn't have to. She looked at you like if you did something wrong, you just murdered Bambi. Yeah. So, and experienced God spirits at chapel, practices, games, and most Waldorf events. Julie is involved in various community activities, including confirmation small group leader, Christmas pageant director, and her family's annual fundraiser for local food shelves and Kids Against Hunger. She is also a regular blood donor and she can still water ski and paddleboard. That's awesome. Her proudest honor is to be called coach in both cheer and church jobs. Her proudest achievement is helping people grow in skill and maturity and reach their goals and God-given call. Said, Julie's been married to this guy, Tom Jolie. You might know him. I think he was a big here not that long ago. Actually, I think he had me wrong. For 50 years. And Tom, you outpunted your coverage on that. Just saying. And they have 3 kids, Roberta, Heidi, and Andy. They also have 3 granddaughters, Claire, Abby, Natalia, and the Jolivets live in Gordon, Wisconsin. With Coach Jolivet's help 40 years ago, today's Waldorf cheer program is an NAIA co-ed sideline and competitive sport. The way she did that was she talked 2 football players into being the first 2 co-ed guys, which were on my board, and say, Doc, you want to do this cheerleading thing? I'm like, well, why not? What's the worst that could happen? So it started for me and enjoyed cheer for 4 years. What I think people don't understand is how dangerous cheerleading is. Seriously, it's the sport that has the most catastrophic injuries per sport. So there's a lot of trust involved in both ways. So she drilled that home every day in practice. So thank you for that. I'd like to close some remarks, if you bear with me a little bit. I'm going to crib some notes from William Morty's an English philosopher. You know, all the English guys give me a break. But the mediocre coach tests. The good coach explains. The superior coach demonstrates. The great coach inspires. Julie, you inspire me. Thank you. Now, will you please join me in welcoming the newest member of the Waldorf Athletics Hall of Fame, class of 2025, Coach Julie Jolivet.
Thank you very much. So we have a sign in our tiki shed that says, "The older I get, the better I was." Thank you, Chad, Jenna, and Doc, for giving me reason to dig through old photos and reminisce past moments of a time before wrinkles and sagging muscles set in. I graduated from Mapleton High School in 1973. The first year Title IX started promoting equality in all aspects of education, including sex discrimination. As a female, my high school experience did not include opportunity to be on any sports teams. The cheer squads I was on were considered an activity and were led by an advisor rather than a coach. So truly, the only way I can be inducted into your Athletic Hall of Fame is because of the great athletes on Waldorf cheer teams. You saw, maybe if you've been watching the screen, I submitted pictures of all the cheerleaders that cheered while I was here. They are all near and dear to my heart, and I'm really thrilled that some of them are here along with Doc, and I would love them to stand so you can see some of the people, some of the kids, some of the athletes that cheered for me. You played an important part in the cheerleading story at Waldorf. I'm also grateful for Athletic Director Denny Jerome, Athletic Secretary Patty Van Dixon, President Ham, Dean Hadley, and Missions Director Steve Lubbock, and Seth Dorm Mom Pam Hatterberg. Starting back in 1985, their collaboration with me in growing cheerleading into a recognized sport at Waldorf was a significant part of the bigger story that we celebrate tonight. My heart leaps with joy and gratitude as Waldorf cheerleading remains strong still today. I hold Teresa Hanna in the highest regard. Coach Hanna anchored the bigger cheer story for 18 years after I left. Without her long-term dedication, I love her to death, and that of the many women who cheered under her leadership, cheerleading at Waldorf would not have progressed so wonderfully. Anyone here who was blessed to cheer under Coach Hanna? Is there anybody here? Yes, I know there is. My daughter. Thank you so much, Coach Hanna and the cheerleaders from 1994 to 2012. Since Coach Hanna left in 2012, 6 coaches have kept the sport of cheerleading alive and well at Waldorf. Hats off to Nicole Lubbock-Blazer, Diana Queisling, Khalil Wilson, Faith Robbins, Michelle Provanzano, and currently Kat Evans and her assistant. Let's have them And all the cheerleaders, stand up and we would like to thank you. Come on, cheerleaders. How amazing that you're all here tonight. Thank you. Also a shout out to athletic directors and their support staffs, presidents, admissions, and financial aid who continued and continue to play key roles in growing and sustaining the strong sport of cheerleading at Waldorf University. I am personally grateful for all that you've done. So you can see my part of this story is really little. Kat, you are keeping it going, and I love that. This whole thing that we're celebrating around cheerleading tonight is really the best example of teamwork, 40 years of incoming. So thank you. I will say, however, that it feels really nice to be appreciated. And I thank you for this moment that really is unexpected and very special. So may we all be good cheerleaders in our lives. May we all have good cheerleaders in our lives. In closing, I would like to thank and introduce you to my best cheerleaders, my family, and if they would stand, I know Doc already introduced, but if my family would stand, my husband Tom, 3 children and their life partners, Roberta and Roy, Heidi and Eric, Andy and Sarah, and our 3 beautiful granddaughters, Claire, Abby, and Natalia. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for this special moment, and go Warriors. And that needs to have an addition to it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and let's hear it from everybody. This is all about cheerleading. 1, 2, 3. Go Warriors! So, one more time. This is a room full of people. It can be way louder than that. 1, 2, 3. Go Warriors! All right. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this lovely evening. A lot of beautiful people, a lot of history in this room, and it's great to be here. You kind of feel it when walking in the building, you know what I mean? And so it's just great to see all of you lovely people here, and I want to thank you guys for coming. Tonight, or this evening, I have the opportunity to give the intro for one of my former student athletes, Jessica Fresh. When thinking about her, 2 words that come to mind for me, passion and intensity. Those are the first 2 impressions I got when getting here to Waldorf. She was here before I got here. I had an opportunity to be her assistant coach 1 year, and then the following year I took over as head coach. But from day one of seeing her, passion and intensity, you know, as a student, as an athlete, that's what you get from Jessica Fresh, right? It's what she does in every aspect of her life. It's what she does, what she did when she came back to coach. It's what she does with her family as a daughter, as a brother, as a wife, as a mother, okay? And so I have the great honor to give her intro. So Jessica Fresh is a 2-time Waldorf graduate, completing her undergrad in 2014 and returning in 2016 to earn her master's degree in 2018. She's a graduate of Knoxville High School down in Knoxville, Iowa. She graduated there in 2010. There she served as Science Club president. She was a member of the National Honor Society and the debate team. There she received a whopping 13 varsity letters. She was a three-time state qualifier in cross-country, soccer captain for 2 years. She competed in track and field as well, and she also played softball. Additionally, she wrestled on the boys team at her high school. Since back then, girls wrestling was not sanctioned in the state of Iowa, it was still over a decade away from being sanctioned, and so therefore she had to compete against boys. In her years as an undergraduate at then Waldorf College, she qualified for the 2012 Olympic team trials, and she also qualified and competed at the 2012 Pan American Championships. She earned academic All-American status. She was on the Dean's List. She was also a WCWA All-American 3 times over. She also won the 2014 Waldorf Athletics Honor Athlete Award at Waldorf's End of the Year All Sports program. Some of her favorite memories at Waldorf College then include her first visit to Waldorf when she met the team. Her memories also include training with Dana, April, Coach Baines at Carver Hawkeye Arena in preparation for the Olympic team trials. Other memories include 6 a.m. training sessions. Those are the funnest. They dreaded them back then, but looking back, she secretly loved them. She also fondly remembers the wrestling practices that she laughed through because her teammate Julie was dancing or impersonating the coach. It wasn't me, but other memories include earning All-American status alongside Claire, Tamika, and Ronnie, and the many heart-to-heart conversations with a former teammate, Ray. Last but not least, the endless road trips she took with Coach Baines. They traveled all over the country, everywhere in bands, including San Francisco, Florida, Oklahoma, Colorado Springs, even up to Winnipeg, Canada. In 2016, she returned to Waldorf to pursue her master's degree and also to help coach the women's wrestling team, to which she was a part of as graduate assistant alongside of myself, Tyrese Gilder. After Waldorf, her accomplishments only continued. She was the assistant coach for Team Texas, who was the 2018 National Dual Champions. She earned Coach of the Year for Texas High School Wrestling in 2018, 2019, 2022, 2023 as well. In 2023, she coached Northwest High School Girls Wrestling to a state title at the Texas UIL State Championships. Also in 2023, she qualified for and ran the Boston Marathon as well. She was nominated as Exemplar Educator 2024. In November 2020, Jessica broke the Guinness World Record for pull-ups in 12 hours by a female with, wait for it, 2,775 pull-ups.
That's what gets you applause.
I'd be lucky to get that many in a year. Her proudest achievements are becoming a 3-time All-American women's wrestler, qualifying for the Olympic trials, and the lifelong friendships she formed with her teammates while here at Waldorf. Jessica is married to Charlotte, and they have 2 kids, Oliver, who is 2.5 years old, and Lennon, who is just over 9 months. The Freshes currently live in Victoria, Australia. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the newest member of the Waldorf Athletics Hall of Fame, class of 2025, Jessica Fresh.
to stand before you today as an inductee to the Waldorf Athletics Hall of Fame. This moment is deeply humbling, but it would be foolish of me to accept this recognition without giving credit to those who helped me. Anyone that has ever accomplished anything will tell you that it's not just the individual that is able to produce success alone. There's always someone in their corner, and for me, this is literally and figuratively. Firstly, to my parents, you gave so much of your time, your energy, and your resources so I could chase a dream. You spent countless hours in gyms, on the road, and rearranging your lives around tournaments and training, and poured your hearts into making sure I had an opportunity to succeed. As parents of usually the only girl in a tournament, I thank you for standing up for me when I often felt like I was standing alone. Being the only girl in a man's sport wasn't easy. There were opponents that refused to wrestle me, would say things to discourage me and to make me feel like I didn't belong. But you never allowed that to impact me. You made sure I earned my spot on the mat, that my goals and dreams were valid, and that I belonged as much as they did. Thanks to your strength in the beginning, I was able to find my own. To my brother, without Jay, I would have never wrestled. He started as a kindergartner, and my mom had to take me along to his practices where I was captivated and just wanted to play. I quietly admired him more than I ever let on. I wanted to win like he did. I wanted to feel that same rush of having my hand raised as he did. I was incredibly lucky to have a built-in training partner and my brother, even if our sessions occasionally ended in a fist fight. Those moments, as chaotic as they sometimes were, helped shape the competitor I became. To my teammates, many don't know this, but I had no idea that Waldorf even had a collegiate women's team until 2011. I was volunteering at one of my brother's tournaments when I met a few of the girls while working tables. I was not happy with where I was. Oh, 1 second, I lost my spot. Where I was, and I knew I needed a big change. I was having literal dreams after meeting them that I was wrestling again, so I took it as a sign and visited the school a couple of weeks later. It was like I was meant to meet these girls. They were meant to be my teammates. If you knew the team from 2011 to 2014, you knew we were a bit of an odd bunch. We were incredibly different. We had different personalities, different backgrounds. We were from different places, we had different quirks, but somehow it all just worked. The bond we shared that allowed Waldorf to feel like home was the one with them. Julie Johnson was one of those teammates who became family to me. Since our days at Waldorf, we've worn so many hats together in each other's lives. We were housemates, co-workers, coaches, and neighbors. We've been through major life events side by side, and her friendship has always remained a constant. She's one of those people I know I can always count on, no matter the season or situation. She's seen me at my best and at my worst, and she's never wavered. April Ritz, who's here tonight, was my very first friend and roommate at Waldorf. She was the first person who made me feel at home in a brand new place. We had so much in common, and that connection helped me pursue goals while having fun. She helped shape my college experience in ways that I'll never forget. I could go on and give you a background story about every single person that was on that team, but they gave me a time limit, so I'll just name them, as they all had a huge part in my successes. Dana Karkar, Lily Spooner, Tamika Jones, Ashley Cook, Pamela Castillo, Claire Lawson, Sonia Lustica, Allie Benson, Justice Howie, Ronnie Goodell, and Gabby Klein. To my coaches, I have been extremely lucky in my life to have the opportunity to have been coached by some of the best in the world. Whether that true fact or bias, they have greatly impacted my life and helped shape me into the person I am today. 2 of the 3 were my college coaches here at Waldorf, and a third was my high school cross-country coach and elementary PE teacher. Coach Baines is truly one of a kind. He showed me that real leadership means leading by example. being willing to step in the trenches with your athletes, earning their trust through action, consistency, and care. From him, I learned that leadership is about presence, not just about instruction. Coach Tyrese taught me a different but equally important, powerful lesson. That what happens off the mat will inevitably show up on it. He helped me understand the importance of balance, accountability, and taking care of the whole person, not just the athlete. And Coach Wilson believed in me long before I ever believed in myself. His encouragement, unwavering positivity, and the visualizations techniques he taught me at such a young age gave me a foundation of self-belief that I've been able to carry throughout my life. He made me believe that with focus and determination, I could accomplish anything. To my friends and family, thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement. A huge thanks to my wife, Charlotte, and children, Oliver and Lennon, and my mother-in-law, Sandra, for coming all the way with me from Australia to attend this special event. Wrestling has been a bit of a northern star for me throughout my whole life. It gave me my first identity and a love for fitness and personal challenge. It gave me some of my greatest accomplishments and taught me some of my greatest life lessons. It gave me some of my closest friends and cherished memories. And when I would stray, I would somehow find my way back. To every woman on the team today, now it's your turn. Now you get to wake up early and late. You get to attend the classes and the study halls. You get to practice daily to chase your goals. Which probably sounds silly to someone else. You get to do the long road trips with your best friends that will likely be your lifelong best friends. You might have caught on that I keep saying get to instead of have to, because it is something that you will one day miss, and you'll realize that it was a privilege. You realize that it's more about those that stood by you and how this experience will shape you. It's a privilege to be a part of this team and to have something worth working hard for. So keep grinding, keep showing up, keep training hard, keep reading, keep studying, leave your own legacy. Thank you again for this incredible honor. I'm proud to represent not just my college or my family, but every warrior who gets to toe that line. Go Warriors. Thanks.
Man, I'm sorry in advance. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Nigel Jenkins, former head basketball coach here at Waldorf. For those who do know me, you know I can get long-winded. So, but anyways, I promise I'm not going to get long-winded too much, I guess. I get the honor of introducing, in my mind, of course, yes, I'm a little biased, the best basketball players who ever stepped foot on the court at Waldorf. I thought about what I would say, how many stories I would tell, but I'm going to tell the truth. And the truth is, I don't know how many of you truly understand basketball, but I know you understand this. Most of you have children, or you work with children. And the one thing that's constant with children, basketball players, if you were a coach, you know what I'm talking about, this phrase typically comes out. How many times do I have to tell you? Right? Well, with Jordan, it's on one. He is a coach's dream. I don't care what sport, he is an absolute dream to coach. For 4 years, I can only recall one time where I actually had to say that phrase. And the first time I said it was when he was on his recruiting trip playing with our guys. I said, Jordan, this is college. You may be 6'6", but you got dudes out there 5'10" blocking your shot. You have to get off the floor quicker. So he came here in the fall. I had to remind him. That was it. That was the last time I had to remind him.
all the way fast forward to senior year, we get to playoff game. For those of you who don't understand basketball, basketball is 40 minutes. That game, Jordan played about 38 minutes, if I recall, if not the entire game. But I know we had different coverages for ball screens based off of who was setting it, who he was guarding, and who was coming off the ball screen. So that's kind of complex, right? You would think that's a lot. He played that entire game and didn't mess up one time on the coverages. Like, he's so unique, so special, not just as a player, as a person. I can't speak for his dad, Ken, how he was as a kid, but all I know is my time here with him, it was very, very special, and I think the world of him. And it's just such an honor for him to go into the Hall of Fame because it's well deserved. After graduating from Neenah High School in Neenah, Wisconsin in 2011 as a letter winner in both volleyball and basketball, Jordan Nelson then attended Waldorf College and played for me. That season we finished 14-13, and it was the most wins since 2007-2008. I will tell you this, I knew he was going to be special. As a freshman that year, we went to the conference tournament. We played against an All-American at St. Ambrose University. Our best post player at the time, who was older, didn't like that matchup against that All-American. Jordan's like, got it. And by the way, he doesn't like to talk a whole lot. His actions speak volumes, I promise you that. And he went out there and did an outstanding job against a senior first-team All-American. That's how I knew he was going to end up being special. In his sophomore year, we finished our first year in the Midlands Collegiate Athletic Conference, MCAC, at 13-15, with Jordan contributing over 140 points and 50 rebounds. The next year, the Warriors finished 16-10 with the most wins since joining the NAIA. Jordan contributed over 300 points and 90 rebounds and was named to the All-MCAC team. He averaged 15.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, shot 60% from the field, and was 9th in the nation in all of NAIA in field goal percentage. He was a MCAC Scholar Athlete for 3 years in a row, earning a 3.25 cumulative GPA or higher each year. In Jordan's senior year, the Waldorf men's basketball team finished with a 15-15 record, and I will go on record and say that's the one year I wish I had it back. I screwed that year up. I will take all the blame for that one, because that was a national tournament team. It really was. And the problem was we didn't play enough games from an NAIA standpoint. We should have had over 20 wins that year. But that year we played a lot of exhibition games because we took a trip to California, and those exhibition games made it to where I can take all those student athletes there without them having to ask their parents for help with flights and hotels and so on and so forth. So that was the sacrifice I had to do. In hindsight, I'm like, I know they had a great time, but the coach in me is like, I screwed up. I should have went for the national tournament. But we were picked to finish second in the conference behind Bellevue University in a championship game. We lost to MCAC and eventually North Star Athletic Association rival Bellevue University. I hate them. 82-74, finishing one game behind co-champions College of Ozarks and Bellevue. He scored over 600 points, grabbed over 180 rebounds that season. He earned MCAC Player of the Week twice, once in January, once in February. On January 4th, 2015, Jordan scored his 1,000th point at Presentation College with 34 points in that game alone. On February 22nd, 2015, he had a career-high 37 points which I'm sure he didn't pass the ball at all. And I don't blame him, I wouldn't have either, against Central Christian College. He was also the MCAC Male Scholar Athlete of the Year, an NAIA Scholar Athlete, and the MCAC Men's Basketball Player of the Year, averaging 19 points, 7 rebounds. Jordan earned NAIA Second Team All-American that season. He was 61% from the field, ranking 10th in the nation, 44% from the three-point line. And by the way, Jordan was the center. And he shot 44% from three, which is kind of unheard of. He was 61% from the field, lost my spot, and 79% from the free throw line. Jordan earned the Waldorf Athletics Honor Athlete Award at the end of the year for the Waldorf All Sports Program. He finished his collegiate career at Waldorf College with 1,325 points, 598 rebounds, and 92 blocks, which at that time, he ranked number 1 in the record books. Jordan's favorite memories as a Warrior included team trips, games in California where they played Hope International, Cal State San Marcos, and Division I UC Riverside, and games against some of the better teams in NAIA, such as Bellevue, College of Ozarks, and Cardinal Stritch. His proudest achievement are earning Conference Player of the Year and Second Team NAIA All-American during his senior year. Jordan currently lives in Utah and works as a loan risk grade analyst for Zion's Band Corporation. I would like for you to join me in welcoming the newest member of the Waldorf Athletics Hall of Fame Class of 2025, Mr. Tim Duncan himself, because he don't say much, he just kick your butt. If you know anything about basketball, you know what I'm talking about. Tim Duncan, and people around the conference literally called him Tim Duncan. All right, so Jordan Nelson, come on up here, man.
So I guess I'd like to say that it's a great honor to be here today, and I know that I wouldn't be here today without the help and support of a lot of people. So I guess I think to start, I'd like to thank my family. I know without their support, driving me to all the practices, games, and tournaments while I was in high school and middle school, that my basketball journey wouldn't have even gotten started. So it's a big thank you to them. I'd like to do a thank you to all my high school coaches for all the lessons that they were able to teach me, and I definitely felt like they gave me like a good preparation for coming into college and laid a great foundation to be built upon. I'd like to next thank all the strength and conditioning coaches that I worked with, and people I worked with the most were David Sheets and Connor Gedemy. I came here out of high school having barely touched weights at all, and through their programming and coaching, I was able to build my body up to be stronger and handle the physical demands of the season. And it's incredibly fortunate to not have any major injuries. I'd like to thank all the teammates that I've had here over the years. My freshman year, I came into a team that was majority of upperclassmen, and I had to learned from them very quickly what it meant to be a college basketball player. I have to thank the players that I matched up with against in practice, Max, Mitch, Eric English, Ben Amati, Caden Verdun, and Mike Morgan. And I'm sure I missed some others there. But I learned so much from them, and they helped to form me into a better player. I have to thank Eric Brewer, Gunsby Dejanay, Teddy Gibson, and Travis Scott. They were tremendous players in their own rights, and they set a high bar every day. They gave me something that I knew I had to play up to. And then to quote Bill Jackson, the strength of the team lies within the individual, and the strength of the individual lies within the team. So to all the other teammates that I may have forgotten or failed to mention, I'd like to thank them as well. Without them, I really wouldn't have been able to accomplish what I did. And lastly, I have to thank Coach Jenkins, Coach Lansack, and all the other assistant coaches I had throughout the years. Their knowledge, guidance, encouragement, and support was crucial to the success I was able to have. Without Coach Jenkins, I probably wouldn't have even been in this position. I was almost locked into going to another school, and through his efforts and the visions he had for trying to turn around the program that had not been very good in previous years, he was able to convince me to come here. He was also instrumental in me helping to secure an internship in my first job after graduating, so I really need to thank him for that. And to end, I just want to thank everyone who showed up and who was responsible for helping to set up this whole thing. Again, anyone who I may have forgotten or failed to mention, and I just want to reiterate what a great honor it is to be receiving this recognition today. Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, my congratulations to the 4 inductees. Jessica, outstanding achievements. I'm not sure where you are, Jessica. Outstanding achievements.
Thank you.
Jordan, a gentleman, but also a great basketball player. I remember even playing along the line. And then Julie, a valued colleague, coach, and friend. And it's my privilege tonight to be that for Coach Boyd. My sophomore year at Waldorf was Coach Boyd's first year on campus. He was my position coach in the football program. The coaching staff of Boestorf and Boyd led us to a perfect 8-0 record. Tomorrow morning, the 69 team will be recognized as the 2025 Team of Honor. A quote that I found from the lobby of the old school newspaper in November 1969 speaks well about Coach Boyd. Rookie of the Year award this year should go to Coach Neil Boyd. It seems whenever you talk to a player about a certain problem concerning the playing or team play, he will answer, Coach Boyd says, well, Coach Boyd is working on this. He is certainly a key part of this outstanding team effort. Another thing about Coach Boyd, we had a drill that Coach Boyd brought with him and introduced to us, and he would fire a pass to us, and he would throw it so hard that it would burn your hands. And so shortly after that, he earned the nickname Bullet Boyd. Affectionately. Coach Boyd's citation reads, Neil Boyd graduated from Northfield High School in Northfield, Minnesota, where he played football, basketball, and baseball. At Northfield, he was an all-state pitcher and would be drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. He graduated from St. Olaf College in 1965 with a BS in biology and physical education. In 1969, he graduated from University of North Dakota with a master's in education and physical education. He took additional coursework at the University of Colorado towards his doctorate degree. He then served as teacher, coach, and athletic director at Havre Public Schools in Montana from 1966 to 1969, and was the advisor to student teachers and also umpired baseball at the University of Northern Montana. Coach Boyd arrived at Waldorf College in the fall of 1969, and he's 36 years at Waldorf. He worked in the physical education department as a professor, coached football as an assistant for 10 years, which included 2 undefeated seasons, and served as head golf coach for 12 years. He was the chairperson of the Natural Science Division for 25 years, and one of his golf teams earned the National Academic Golf Team of the Year award, and while the year before they were the national runner-ups. He was also president of the Waldorf faculty for 2 terms. Most notably, Coach Boyd served as head coach of the men's wrestling team for 20 years. He coached 23 All-Americans and 3 national champions. His teams were nationally ranked for 16 consecutive years. He served as an officer on the National Junior College Wrestling Association, was awarded District Coach of the Year 1 time, and was inducted into the National Junior College Athletic Association Wrestling Hall of Fame. Coach Boyd retired from Waldorf College in 2005. Neil has been heavily involved in the Forest City community over the years. He worked with the Forest City Boy Scouts, leading them on survival camping trips. He organized and led these scouts on backpacking, camping, and hiking trips to Colorado. Neil was also involved in leading an outdoor men's Bible study. Neil clarifies it was a leadership and partnership with Gary Marzel, the Methodist minister, who led the Bible study, while Neil led the hiking, destinations, and meal preparation. Neil also commented that Waldorf was the team to beat, not only in football and wrestling, but in the Forest City Park and Rec Flag Football League. The Waldorf faculty team won 9 consecutive league championships. And I might add that the quarterback was Bill Boyd. Some of the best teaching memories of Waldorf include 2 of his favorite classes, Theory and Psychology of Coaching, where he was able to invite area coaches to his classes, and outdoor recreation, which included winter survival experiences. Neil has always been an outdoorsman and fondly remembers Canadian fishing trips with fellow teachers and coaches in the early years at Waldorf. When thinking back on achievement, Coach Boyd said, the honors, the champions, and the national rankings are all wonderful memories, and they represent the hard work and dedication of the students. Even though Coach Boyd is retired, he still has a number of important jobs, such as #1 fan of the Boyd grandchildren and their events, chief chef of the Boyd household, travel agent of adventures near and far, and devoted fisherman and hunter, putting fish and meat on the Boyd's family table. I don't know if they remember this, but I do remember when I returned to Waldorf, Neil and Leah welcomed me into their home for supper one night when they lived over by Indian Springs. Neil prepared one of his specialties, straight out of the woods and delicious, venison, liver, and onions. Neil and Leah have 2 sons, Brett and Ryan. They also have 3 grandchildren, Michael, 19, Elena, 12, and Camden, 10. Neil is grateful for and takes great joy in his family. The Boyds live in Forest City. Please join me in welcoming the newest member of the Waldorf Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2025, Coach Neil Boyd.
Can everybody hear me okay? This is the largest group I've spoken to in quite some time. I retired in 2005, and at the time I retired, I truly missed the classes and the audience that I got to speak to. That was the students. My history in athletics, coaching, and teaching, I call as part of a journey. A journey that has, at many times, had bumps and bruises, ups and downs. As a professor of many years, I remember all those. And I am truly thankful for them. I had a lot of friends here today, coming from Rhinebeck, Iowa, back there, Lake Mills, Cedar Rapids. In fact, I'm going to have all of you stand up. I see a couple of my fishing friends over there. Believe it or not, when we got here, we weren't talking about this tonight. We were talking about fishing and what we were going to do this next year. My sister Mary over there, and my immediate family, Ryan and Camden, and Michael and Elena, and Brent and Joan, were all a part of this journey. The journey that has brought me here tonight. Another friend was sitting over there, Kevin and his wife. I tried to adopt him at one time, but he said that wouldn't work because he wasn't Norwegian. I don't know if he's ever changed his mind about that. So on like this. The pride of my family right now is my 3 grandkids. Elena, stand up. Camden, stand up. And Michael Ryan, nicknamed Big Mike. Michael was All-State in 2 sports this past year, first team. I started my coaching career and teaching career in a place called Havre, Montana. Long ways from here, and if any of you know about Havre, it's 75 miles from the Canadian border in northern Montana. A very educationally minded school system, probably the most educationally minded school system I've ever been associated with. I was brought there to be the athletic director, a football coach, a basketball coach, a track coach, and I also started the wrestling program in Havre, Montana. 4 years later, they won the state title. And I also got to be an adjunct professor for Northern Montana University in Havre. That kind of sparked my thoughts about college teaching. I got to work with young people that were going into teaching. And it was a very, very pleasant experience. Bob's shaking his head here in appreciation of that. Then one morning, 3 years after teaching there, I got a phone call from Dr. Gary Severson. He was the Dean of Academic Affairs at Waldorf College. He explained a little bit about the phone call after he introduced himself. This is at 7 o'clock in the morning as my wife and I were getting ready to go teach in Havre. He said he was looking for somebody that could come to a private Christian Lutheran church college that enjoyed athletics. And meanwhile, I'm picking myself off the floor because I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea where Waldorf was located. All I heard was someplace in Iowa. When I was growing up, my grandpa used to take me to the stockyards in Forest City, and that was my memory of Iowa. Corn was tall, the roads were terrible, and it was a pretty place to be at. Forest City was just kind of getting started with Winnebago. So that was kind of the center of what was going on in Forest City at that time. I was hired to be the assistant football coach with Dave Goldsdorf. That in itself was a lesson in learning. I got to be a part of an undefeated football season the first year I was there. That was an unreal season. Dave taught me a lot of things. He taught me patience, which is something that Jerome knows over there. I didn't have an awful lot of my first year. You know, he called me bullet because I threw the ball too hard. And some of the receivers couldn't catch it. In fact, one of the receivers broke his finger trying to catch one of them. But he taught me patience. And patience is a very important part of athletics. Something that we often forget. It's an important part of teaching. When we try to bring young people to a position of being a positive influence on the world, patience is something we often forget. When I talked to Coach Gary Severson, the end of the phone conversation, he offered me the job over the phone. You know, I once again fell on my face. Because I didn't know much about Waldorf any more than I did when we started out. And my wife asked me, she said, "What was that phone call all about?" And I said, "Well, I've just been offered the job to come and teach at a private church college, Lutheran Church College in Iowa." And she kind of blinked. What kind of story is that? But we talked about it because we've been talking a little about me eventually being a college teacher to coach. Well, Dr. Severson really encouraged me to come to Waldorf for a visit. And so that weekend, believe it or not, we hopped on the train. And it wasn't the Amtrak at that time. and speeded to Forest City, Iowa. My mother picked me up in Minneapolis and drove us down to Forest City. First two people that I met at Waldorf were Ralph Lund and Helen Ash. I see a lot of people shaking their heads in acknowledgement. They were my mentors the first couple of years. I'll always remember Ralph over at the Civic Auditorium working with the intramural programs at midnight because that was the only time we could get to gym. I'll always remember Helen Asp. I had a wrestling meet in Wilmer, Minnesota, amidst a snowstorm and ice storm. It took us 5.5 hours to get the normal trip should take us 2. I had a class at 6:30 that morning. And I was shook up then because I've been driving on the ice and I got 12 people sleeping in the van the whole time. Guess who was at my door, my office door, that morning? Helen Ash. Neil, go home. I'm taking your class. That's what Waldorf is all about. We accepted the job. We didn't have a family at the time, but we felt this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up if I wanted to get into college teaching and coaching. One of the things that I always remember is that first football team who we're honoring tomorrow. I remember we were 8-0. But I remember more importantly, the type of people we had on that team. Talk about commitment. Talk about team. Talk about personalities, differing ones, of all sorts, coming from all different high schools. What a way to start out my college coaching assignment. In wrestling, we were very fortunate to be very successful. And they said we had 16 years in a row of being ranked in the top 10 in the nation. 23 All-Americans, 3 national champions, which I'm very, very proud of. That can never be taken away from them. But wrestlers, as my wife pointed out to me on several occasions, were a different breed. We can all smile at that because we probably are familiar with some wrestlers. I always remember one night, I had a wrestler call up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Coach, I'm 4 pounds overweight and weigh-ins are at 7 o'clock. I see a wrestling over there, you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't give him an answer right away. But I said I'll be over there in 10 minutes. What size shoe do you wear? He said, what size shoe do I wear? What does that have to do with me being 4 pounds overweight? You wait and find out. Well, I came over there and I said, okay, put on all the clothes you can possibly put on. And he did. I said, here's the boots you're going to wear. Guess what we did? We went cross-country skiing. Next morning, he was a half a pound underweight. Those are things. One of my fondest memories of coaching wrestling at Waldorf College came from my recruitment of a young man who went to school just south of here, not very far. And one of the things that I always did when I recruited a young man was I always talked to the high school counselor and his high school coach first, just to find out, see how he would fit in at the situation we had here. And I did. The high school coach, not high school coach, the high school counselor said, this young man has got no business going to college. He's barely making it in high school. Not a very good recommendation. I went and talked to the wrestling coach. He said something different. He said the young man is very committed. I watched this young man grow on the wrestling mat for 3 years prior to my recruiting him. He was tough. He had a lot of potential. And he was just a good person. Well, that young man came to Waldorf and became an All-American. He also became District Coach of the Year 3 times and was runner-up for the State Teacher of the Year award. He came to Waldorf because we gave him a chance. And I'll always remember that. When he retired, he was president of the school board. So much for counselors sometimes. I was also the golf coach for 12 years. Thank goodness I was a better coach than I was a golfer. That's a given. I tried to teach or work with the young men, but because of budgets and everything else, we couldn't compete with the bigger colleges. But we had fun, which is what I tried to make the golf team think about. We were national, as Coach Jerome said, we were national academic runners-up of 142 colleges. And I had some kids that wanted us to do even better. I remember coming back from a couple golf trips. And here were these golfers in the back of the van tutoring the one person that was probably the weakest. Guess what? We were national champions, academically, in the whole state of the United States. I was very, very proud of that. I never got to play on a winning high school team in football. I never got to play on a winning team in college. As I've got two of the former people that I played football with, Paul and Bob back then. We didn't have a lot of success, but we had coaches that really cared. Coaches that knew what life and academics and everything else, the proper place for all of it. I'll never forget that. And it's had a lot to do with my journey. I'm going to finish with a little story that I heard one of my first years at Waldorf College. Coach Bolsdorf and I went to a coaching clinic up at Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota. The keynote speaker was a gentleman by the name of Woody Hayes. I see some people nodding their heads that they recognize that name. For you younger people, he was the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, who were ranked #1 in the nation at the time. Coach Hayes was supposed to speak from 7 till 9. At 11 o'clock, we were still going. The last 2 hours had nothing to do with X's and O's. It had to deal with what's life all about. Coach Hayes, this is Coach Hayes' story. Coach Hayes had the #1 All-American running back playing for him. And on the 5th game of the season, he severely tore up his knee. He was done for the year. So in steps the second guy. And if you know anything about Ohio State, you know they're pretty deep. Well, the second gentleman was almost as good as the All-American. The second play of the game, he severely sprained an ankle. And he was out. So in comes the third guy. The third guy wasn't there because he had been sick the day before and couldn't make the trip. So Coach Hayes motions to the 4th guy on the team. And see, you're in. Well, the young man went on to set the single season rushing record for Ohio State that day. The 4th guy on the team. And Coach Hayes came up to him and he said, "What in the world happened out there that you just turned down the juices?" Well, the young man looked at him and he said, "You remember, Coach, My dad died this past week. My dad was blind. He said, to look at Coach, for the first time he was able to see me play. That stuck with me for many, many, many years. I've been out at different times. What was the toughest thing that you ever did while coaching? What was the most memorable thing that you ever did with coaching? The story about that young man that became president of the school board was one of the most memorable. But the toughest thing I ever had to do was I had to speak at a funeral. My wife and I had been to a funeral that afternoon from a young man from Emmitsburg, Iowa. We got a call from the pastor that Tracy and his wife were just killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. Would you speak at the funeral? Thank you, everybody, for this night and for the type of place that Waldorf College is. And God bless.
You're absolutely right. That's why I don't have as loud a voice as Coach Boyd. So. But the night never disappoints. Let's give one more hand for all the inductees. I always learn something and that humbles me, and I just found out that my personal record of 10 pull-ups is not very good. So that's just one more thing I gotta work on.
That's lifetime.
Yeah, that's lifetime. I didn't have 24 hours, I've had a whole life to work on that. Okay, a couple instructions. Tomorrow, about 5 minutes before halftime, I'm gonna ask the inductees and their families to meet by the new concession stand, and then we will announce you at halftime. Jenna, I said that right. Now we're going to have Kathy Jerome sing our alma mater, and then that concludes the evening.
Actually, you're going to join me.
In the alma mater. I'm not soloing this one.
Oh, come on. Okay, if you'd like to stand up, stretch your legs, and join me in the alma mater. All hail to thee, O Lord, thy praises we will sing, through thy beloved